How are y'all? I'm Tex. This is Tex Talks. Thank you for coming here. If I'm a shade paler than my normal pale, and I admit I'm normally pale, and also I've delayed, I think, in the video. Again, my apologies. Today is about the post-COVID blues. So just a little short video, and I'll do another one too on a topic that come up. But just wanted to take a second to basically acknowledge the fact that I had caught COVID. I think it's important that we have these discussions, that we're very frank about what's going on, what are our symptoms. I'm a big believer that if you actually put the information out there, honest information, when there's a crisis, emergency, or situation, that people usually tend to take the information better, act more adult than you would think they would, and actually use it to the benefit of themselves and others. So this is me post-COVID. Little story of what had happened, what my symptoms were like, so it help give you an idea, and maybe this might help someone else who's wondering, do I have COVID or don't I have COVID? Don't think it's going to clear it up that much, but we'll try. That being the case, if you've noticed that I have to suck in a little bit more air, and it's a little bit harder for me to talk. That comes from the fact that whatever it did to my lungs while I was going through that, it definitely made it hard for me to breathe and a little bit tireder. Now, going into this, before I ever had COVID, I had some health problems. Everybody, if you live long enough, stuff goes wrong. That's the rule. So, a little bit of problems with blood pressure, a little bit of problems with histories of things like pneumonia and stuff, bronchitis a lot growing up. And, those kinds of things tend to some people tend to have those things. They're not a big thing. You get through, you don't think about it much. Now, whether that had effect on how COVID affected me personally, don't know. I will say I had my shot. I had the boosters, both of them ones. I haven't got around to the next one, but it's down the pike. I'm going to get it. I know. About a week before I actually had what I would consider to be noticeable symptoms, I had total exhaustion. And it being before Christmas, I just assumed that was me feeling like crap because, before a holiday and before you're going to take off, you try to cram as much work as you can in so you can get through that and get over the hump. But I was just bottoming out for energy. Which is not me. I usually can push through and do day after day after day with no issue. Well, it was getting really hard to do that. And then I noticed that I had a feeling which I would call the equivalent of somebody going through time in a time machine and stealing every prize out of every Cracker Jack box I've ever had in all of my life and childhood. I'm saying I went low, felt very down. So now I'm tired and I'm down. And I know these symptoms because I'm at least self-aware enough to look at myself in the mirror in the morning and go, okay, let's analyze what's happening to you. So the thing is I knew I could push through and I'd be all right if I just got to the other end of this, because that is one of the things I tell people with depression is, don't let that thing kick your butt. It's one of the things my mom did get right when I was growing up. She said, look, when you're feeling like that, you're feeling low, you're feeling like you can't get up, don't let it kick your butt. Get up and do something. And so that's what I do. I get up and do something. And then around a Wednesday, it felt like I could not quit coughing. I did everything. I gargled. I did everything to try to stop coughing, and I just couldn't quit coughing. And the coughing was causing me a massive headache. And that was it. None of those other symptoms of, snotting and, breathing issues. I just cough, 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 cough. The next day after that was a Wednesday. The next morning, that Thursday morning, I felt a little better, still coughing. But the better was in the coughing range, not in the feeling tired and everything else range, because, of course, coughing all night keeps you awake. When you're awake, you don't get the rest. When you don't rest, you feel cranky. I spiked fever. And then after I spiked fever, I'm like, definitely got to get up there today and let them run their tests, make sure this isn't just, me having a sore throat. Went up there, did the COVID test, and and then of course they wanted to argue with me, which a lot of places are, and I'm not going to tell you where I went to, but you get what you pay for. And I went to one of those little quickie care places, and the individual was trying, oh no, you don't need the rapid test because you don't have COVID symptoms enough for us to actually say that's needed. And I'm like, I need it so I can tell them whether or not I can go to work or not, which was probably good. I didn't go to work anyway. And no, and they gave me some stuff and said, oh, we think you might have a sinus infection. They don't have any proof. We think that's what it is. But we'll give you the regular old COVID test. Being here in Maryland the next morning, my phone exploded from the state of Maryland telling me what I should do and what I should not do and who I should, how I should handle that. So basically, it was 5 days of quarantine, which I have no problem with. I can stay home. We're cool. And then 5 days of mask wearing. So 10 days total of changing your life, which I'm a big believer, when you're in a crowded place, you should wear a mask anyway. So that being said, I had already that night before I got the results back, started to feel worse. And then the sinuses kicked in. And, excuse me if y'all have a delicate stomach, what I'm fixing to say may make a few people a little bit sick. But I spent 2 days of blowing enough snot and blood to fill a boat. I literally would get up every couple of hours, blow a handful of literally just a mixture of snot and blood. And, stagger over, take my next dose of Mucinex or whatever, get something warm to drink and go lay down. And that was my process for about 2 days. For 2 days, it wiped me out. One day, I have absolutely no memory of what I did. The other day is very foggy. I do know that I tried to drink hot liquids because I had no appetite. I lost my sense of smell about this time, and coffee tasted like a cross between ditch water and old rotten mop water. Yeah. And people go, well, why did you drink it? And I'm like, well, because some of us some days are idiots. But I did need something hot, and I did need that, and so it was hot, and it was tea and some soup and then hot water and go lay down. And that was 2 days of that. And then by Sunday, I was starting to function enough that I could get a hold of work and go to work on Monday. And that meant working from home because I was still under my 5 days of quarantine. So I worked from home Monday and Tuesday. And unfortunately, I had a training on Wednesday, which allowed me to basically, chill out in front of the camera and participate a little bit in the training, watch what's going on and get my stuff on. And by Thursday, I was ready to work, even though I was tired and exhausting. I had several days off for the Christmas holidays, which was fortunate because I didn't do jack. And I didn't realize it until I actually tried to, towards, the New Year time frame. I actually tried to go out and go for a walk, and I didn't even make it across the edge of the driveway to the trail. And I realized I have no oxygen and I cannot do this. And I turned around and went back in the house. By the time I'd actually came back to work this week, and on Tuesday of this week, first Tuesday of the new year, when I tried to walk into my office here and come up a set of stairs, coming up the stairs depleted all the energy in me. I literally had to sit down at the top of the stairs to breathe. And now it's been, what was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As you can see, I'm still getting out of breath. I have to pause. I have to take a second to breathe. The other thing that I've noticed since then is I have what I call brain farts, which is basically forgetting things, like forgetting to email somebody, forgetting to send someone a note or a piece of paper, or, write a letter for someone, or forgetting passwords. That's a funny one. Having to change passwords multiple times to where I've had to now sit down and write down everything I'm supposed to do and everything that's going on while people are talking. And I take notes during my sessions anyway, but now I'm taking notes just sitting here doing my job. And I've had people tell me, well, it could be worse. This could happen, that can happen, which is true. I truly, truly feel I am blessed, even though I had it, and even though I was sick, even though, somebody, a couple of people around me had gotten sick as well. I feel I am blessed in the sense that nobody got seriously ill, or worse yet, I didn't lose anybody to COVID. And none of us had to go to the hospital, which is also an awesome thing. And that I also was fortunate enough to have the time off from work, because I also realize I'm blessed in that the place I work during the day gives us those days off and gives us holidays, because I know many people out there are very unfortunate and they don't have paid days, they don't have holidays, they don't have even sick days to take. So in that sense, I'm very, very, very fortunate that I had that time to get through it. So that's where I'm at now. I can smell. I don't usually have any issues with that now. I don't have any issues with taste most of the time. I do have the breath issue, and like I said, the memory issue. Oh, and I had a hard time seeing that Sunday and Monday and reading, which really panicked me, because I did not want to have a problem with that, because I recommend reading. I love reading. I've read my whole life. It's something I really enjoy. But I do think that might also have been from blowing my nose so much, because maybe I put so much sinus pressure on my eyeballs that my eyeballs decided to get up and say, screw you. We need a break too. Plus, not sleeping and resting and being tired. I think my eyesight's gotten a little bit better. I can read a little bit now. My eyes are still a little bit tired, and I get a little bit tired, but we're going to plow through this. So for those of you that have had COVID, you know what it's like for you. I've heard the symptoms are very different from everybody. They can be similar, but have different time periods, or totally different symptoms, or much worse symptoms and really scary symptoms where family members have lost other family members or friends or people they love. And for those people, I tell you, I want to let you know that I'm sorry for your loss. And for those of you that are still suffering with what they call, I guess, long COVID, again, I recommend that you do seek out and talk to somebody, because all of those things bring grief. Anytime something happens to you in your life where you lose something that is important, and I don't care if it's just a job, if it's an ability such as, reading or walking, or the things that you love to do, or your routine, losing your health, losing loved ones, all of those are losses, and they all fall under grief, loss, and trauma. So please talk to somebody, family member, loved ones. If you have religious figures and counselors in your life, if you're in school, school counselors, if you can get to a therapist, social worker, please use your resources, get your help. Coming back from COVID health-wise also means coming back mental health-wise. And I wish everyone else a speedy recovery. And I hope that everyone starts getting better sooner, and that this COVID thing kind of shifts. I will say that, like many things though, like guests after the holidays, it doesn't always leave when you want it to. It lingers for a little while. So do your best, pull through, and know that I am with you in both my voice and in my thoughts. Namaste.